Hello.
It seems our days are getting repetitive like a lo-fi loop. The magic tries to drift away. It gets
Hello,
colder, start
hello.
calling you, and
Hopefully
I
this
say
is
because I love you.
working.
But do I like you? That's a maybe. But no stress. There's no one else that I would rather call
If this
baby. And
if
yet I'm
this
seeing you trying to
if
diss
this
me.
is working,
So
then I'm
tell me
live
something
on three
different. You
different
say your reason
platforms
is
and it looked
because
like
of
they were all running.
reminiscence. I'm steaming, but I look the other way.
Hopefully I can
Cause
also
maybe one of
be
these days
heard well
the
enough
gray will change to blue. We
over the
just need a
music.
different hue, a different view. I wouldn't be where I am if it weren't for you. You wouldn't be
So
where
there's
you
been a lot
are
of
if it
setup.
weren't for me. And I got no right to be cocky, but I'm if you wanna change the scene.
A
And yet
lot
I
is
wouldn't blame
a
you.
lot
All
has
my
been
life is
happening.
tasting bittersweet.
Something a little
Baby
different
girl,
is happening.
you're the one
I'm
for
live on
me. You're the
YouTube,
lady from my
Twitch,
dreams, but you
and
pull a
Kick.
different king.
So we're gonna
Oh,
see how this
and
runs.
baby
We're gonna
girl,
see if my
you're
computer can
the
handle it, so.
only one I promise. But
But I'm
if
back.
I need a
I'm back. I know there was a long
bring
break
these
again,
walls
and
that you've been
it's
stacking
really
up
upsetting when I have these breaks. I don't like having them. But this time it was for a reason that I couldn't reschedule. And so I will talk about it while we get into the parkour that I forgot how to do, I'm sure. Woo! Because I haven't played Minecraft the whole time. I don't even know which direction we're going. Probably here. Okay. Not a great start. Anyway, so the reason for the very unfortunately long hiatus was there's a couple of reasons. So obviously I'm streaming on both or on three different platforms at the moment, and so that took a long time to set up, honestly. That's what I was setting up last weekend, which is I ran out of time to stream because I didn't think it would take as long to set up as it did. So that was unfortunate. And then the reason before that was that I got LASIK eye surgery because I had not so great vision, and so my parents, as a gift to me, paid for me to get LASIK, and they had to do it before they went on vacation because they wouldn't be able to like help me get back to the eye doctor if there's any complications, and so that had a set time that it had to happen. And it was recommended that I don't, stare at a screen for hours right after getting my eyes fixed. So I was avoiding my computer, and I got it done on a Friday. And so that whole weekend was spent just kind of like recovering from it, because even though I probably waited a little longer than I had to, I am just a very paranoid person, and I did not want to mess up my eyes right after fixing them. So I just kind of avoided excessive strain on my eyes, and that unfortunately included playing video games because I can lose track of time really easily. So eyes are fixed. Eyes are good. They said that not only do each of my eyes have 20/20 vision now, but together they have 20/15. And with eyes, the smaller the number, the smaller the number, the better for vision. Just like, in golf, the smaller the number, the better the score, that kind of thing. And so, even though both of my eyes individually are 20/20, for some reason together they're 20/15, meaning that I can see slightly further as long as I don't have one of my eyes closed. If I'm seeing through one eye at a time, it's 20/20, but if I have both of my eyes open, it's 20/15. And so I don't notice like a super big like difference in how well my eyesight is. Well, okay, there's a big difference from where it was before, but I mean from like it's very much similar to when I would wear contacts or glasses. I didn't notice a super big difference between that and this, which, if I had to be completely honest, I was slightly disappointed. I'm like, and that's not to say that this isn't like a huge life adjustment, like it's not a huge life event for me. It's a really big thing, and I'm forever grateful that my parents were willing to buy it for me, pay for it. And I'm not disappointed in having gotten the surgery. I'm very grateful because it means I never have to worry about breaking my glasses again, and I don't have to pay for contacts ever again because I wore dailies, meaning at the end of the day you just throw them away and you put a new one in the next day. And so, you know, the prices for those rack up over the years, and I've worn glasses since I was in like 3rd grade. And so it was very important to me that I get this because I was nearsighted, meaning I couldn't see far away super well. And so my vision started blurring about like a foot in front of my face by the time I got LASIK. Of course, it started with me just not being able to read the classboard from the back of the room, as most people find out. And I didn't want to sit in the front. So I get my vision from both my parents, unfortunately. Mainly my mom, because my dad's wasn't that bad. Like, he didn't get LASIK till like 10 years ago. My mom got LASIK like 20 years ago. And then I got it just now. And my mom's vision, the 2015, I don't know if that's quite how it works, but if I got it from someone, I got it from her, because when she got LASIK, her vision was also 2015 when they were done. And she said that lasted for like around a year. But she also got LASIK when she was a few years older than I am now. And her eyes are still going strong. Like, she doesn't need reading glasses or anything. She's just fine without them. Her eyes get a little, her eyes are like a little more sensitive to light, as are mine at the moment. And they also have like some excessive dryness, and like I've never had dry eyes, so this is definitely a new thing for me. Because like, I guess my eyes are just really good at self-lubricating, because I've never needed like eye drops, and I can have like a fan on in a room, and I was really good at staring contests, you know, usual stuff. But now I have these eye drops that are, they're artificial tears, and I have to put them in like every hour, pretty much on the hour is how I'm tracking it. But for the first couple of days, it was every 15 minutes, and it got so tedious. I felt like I couldn't do anything with my day because I would just be interrupted by me having to put in eye drops. Like I couldn't play any games, because if I was doing anything multiplayer, I'd probably get like killed or beaten or something because I put the eye drops in. But the dryness was so uncomfortable that I had no choice but to put the eye drops in. So, you know, I couldn't skip out on it. But I didn't skip out on it, and I still haven't. It was worse because for the first 6 days, I had to put in 2 other drops as well that were like antibiotics or whatever, because, you know, I just had my eyes cut open. They need to heal and not get infected or something. And so I had to do those 4 times a day, plus the eye drops for dryness, artificial tears. And so I was just putting in 3 eye drops and having to like time them and stuff. It was so annoying. I'm glad that all that's left is the artificial tears. I don't want to deal with it. But I am very grateful for the experience. But with the artificial tears, I have to do it. So it was every 15 minutes the day after, and the day of. And then it's every hour for a month. And then after the first month, it's 4 to 6 times a day for 2 more months. And then they said, you know, if I need to do it longer than that, I might have to, depending on my own eyes. That's so frustrating. Because, like, they said we don't have to get the same eye drops that we got because they give us 3 boxes that were like $16 each. So, was that like $48 or something? Expensive eye drops. Expensive artificial tears. And so, they said after these ones run out, which, honestly, they're already almost out. Feels like I haven't had them for long enough, but they're almost out. That I can use any artificial tears as long as it's preservative free. So I can get some that are like $4 or something, just over the counter, they said. So that'll be much better. Because then I could get 4 for the price of one of these. Oh no. Done. Sorry. Sorry. I received a message and it was urgent. And by urgent, I just mean I don't ignore messages. I answer as soon as possible. Even if I'm in the middle of something. Even if I'm streaming. They will not message me anymore. Ah! Where was I? What was I talking about? Talking about the eye surgery and the eye drops. How long I have to do them for. Nothing of note about the follow-up appointment, which was like I got it done on a Friday and then I had to do a follow-up the Wednesday after. The only thing of note is the lady said I was pleasant to work with. Okay. They're asking why they can't message me. Because I'm busy. If they message me, I will respond, but I don't want them to message me right now. Okay. It will only take a while to answer somebody's message if I tell them that I'm going to take a while to answer their message. Like if they know beforehand that I won't respond immediately, then it's fine. But if they don't know I'm doing something, then I feel bad. How dare I be bothersome by not telling everybody that knows me my plans. But yeah. I was a little late starting the stream because I was baking chocolate chip cupcakes. They were vanilla cupcakes with chocolate chips in them. And I put way too much batter in on accident of all of the cupcakes. And so I had to use an ice cream scoop to scoop like half of it out of each one. And I think it still was like slightly too much. The recipe didn't call for the chocolate chips, and so I didn't process in my head that, oh, if I add these chocolate chips, it will add to the mass, and so I need to put less in, you know? Like, I didn't think about it. Also, I don't think I've ever baked cupcakes on my own before. I did my best. I did try one though, and while it was like fresh out of the oven, it burned my mouth a little bit. It tastes the best when it's still warm. So I had one and it fell apart because of course it did, because all of the chocolate chips sank to the ground, and so it just kind of like fell almost in half. Because they put too many chocolate chips in. I never said I was good at baking. But I'm not gonna like ice them or anything because I personally don't like icing. You know, if someone else wants to ice one for themselves, they can do that. We have frosting. but I didn't want to, and I baked them because no one was home right now, and you know, I didn't want them to butt in. But I'm sure when they're home in a bit, they're gonna want them. Yeah, so in my opinion, you know, a pastry is a pastry. I don't really care what it looks like, as long as it tastes good. So even though my cupcakes are a mess and they're kind of like cone shaped, they're cooked all the way through, and that's the most important part. Not getting salmonella, because it said to cook it like 12 to 17 minutes, and I cooked it 12 and it was still very runny, and so I ended up cooking it for 16, I think. And it came out. Maybe they were slightly browner on the outside than they should have been, but that's okay. None of the chocolate chips burned. At least it didn't seem like they did. It's okay. Oh. Yeah, no, they taste really good though. And that's like I said, all I really care about is that it tastes good. And it does. But yeah, as you can probably see, there's like a square here. That's chat. Oh, also I have hotkeys now, so I can switch between my thing. Although I'm pretty sure this starting soon screen is different. Pretty sure I used a different picture, but I like this one more. Any picture that I use is a picture that I took. Just by the way, like I took this photo when I was in Florida, and I took this one in Colorado or New Mexico. I'm not sure. I've been to both. And I take a lot of pictures of like scenery and sunsets and stuff, so I'm not entirely sure I did it. But the beaches in Florida are nice. They're pretty. Well, as long as you're not at the beaches with the Gulf of Mexico. Because, I mean, it's probably not every beach around the Gulf, but everyone that I've been to, it's just full of seaweed. There's so much seaweed. It smells like rotting eggs. It's so bad. Like, also it's really slimy, and it always scares you if it just like brushes against your leg when you're swimming. It's not a very pleasant experience. But like I don't think it looks bad, you know. Like it's mainly bad after like a storm or something. So it's not like it's bad year round. But I guess it's just always bad whenever I've been there. Which is fine. I prefer being on the sand over in the water anyway. Because like if you swim in the water, you just get sand like in your trunks, in your swimsuit, and it's chafing and uncomfortable. Which like obviously you'll get sitting on the beach, the sand part as well, but like you're a little more in control of it because the water just like washes it between your bathing suit, whereas the sand is just it gets wherever you let it get, basically. If it gets in your shorts, it's because you're probably sitting in it. If it gets in your top, I don't know, you were getting buried in the sand or something. Or someone dumped sand on your head, but then you get in your eyes as well. That's not fun. I'm not even allowed to swim right now. Because of my eyes. I don't actually remember how long they said I wasn't allowed to swim for. I mean, I don't swim super often, so I guess it's not that big of a deal. I'll use that as an excuse for the next like half a year. It's like, oh, well, sorry. And, you know, if anyone asks, just, oh, sorry, can't swim. you know, I got leg sick. And they said no swimming. Which, like, you know, it's not that I hate swimming. I like being in the water, but I don't like the process of. I don't like wearing a swimsuit. Yes, they're hard to get into, and I don't wear like bikinis. Not my thing. Because I mean, I've never worn a bikini, but I assume they're not very difficult to get into because there's barely any fabric. But like, my bathing suit literally covers as much skin as possible. Because I get sunburned so easily. I'm very pale. I'm a pale person. I'm as pale as the white of this flower, or the birch on the tree. I'm this white. I'm so pale. When I'm wearing a bathing suit, I look like a vampire. And it's not helped by the fact that my bathing suit is like mainly black. There's a little bit of color, but because it's like a tank top with like a built-in bra thing or whatever. Because you know you don't want to wear like the equivalent of a bikini and then a shirt over it. That would just be annoying, I'm sure. So it's like a tank top with like thick straps on the shoulder. And then these pants, they're like leggings, but they go just past my knee. But you know, made of bathing suit material. And like it's pretty comfortable. And it's relatively easy to get on when it's dry. But like if you think guys in your like trunks are hard to get on, imagine getting on a whole outfit. And then of course on top of the tank top, because I don't want to burn my shoulders, I wear a t-shirt. So there's not much of a point in wearing the tank top because I'm wearing a shirt over it. But like the shirt is supposed to just be a cover up, you know, like something you wear until you get to the beach, then you're supposed to take it off. But I just wear it the whole time. I don't take it off. And so it's very stretched out from like being waterlogged all the time. Where like it was just like a normal shirt length, but now it just like goes really low. I swear if I wear it any longer, it's gonna go like halfway down my thighs. But it wasn't supposed to. But you know, it works. It's still there. It exists.
With a rat chick, had nowhere to go, had to move back to daddy's. Now I'm not making much, but I'm making it happen. I wonder life would be, dog, without this rapping. This rapping thing is a part of me. Pardon me if I don't listen to what you'd want from me.
A different person. It's Parkour. Apparently Discord didn't tell him I was streaming. It's fine, I told him. We're talking about the beach. Yeah, so it is a swimsuit that is very easy to initially get on, but very, very difficult to take off, and very difficult to put back on if you don't wait for it to dry. So that's unfortunate. Woo! I want to check everything and make sure it's still streaming on. Okay. Take a stream. Twitch is stream. Restream. Restream. We're good. Yeah. So I'd rather just not swim. Or if I am gonna swim, it's probably just impromptu, and I'll probably just jump in with whatever I'm wearing. As long as it's not like something nice, you know, like I'm not gonna jump in while I'm wearing a dress or something. If you hear my dog, no you don't, as usual. He doesn't exist. But I'd rather just wear whatever I'm wearing if I'm dressing like comfortably or whatever. Like if I'm just wearing a t-shirt and some like leggings or something, I'll pop in the pool, maybe, if someone asks me to. And if the sun has gone down, or at least the pool's in the shade. I really don't like the sun. Ah! I can't look at it news. Even if the Neo is a fence. That's the Neo. I don't know. Corner jump. I'm not good at round fence. Oh, I could... It's not bloody, so I could probably describe... I could probably describe how the eye surgery went, right? There's no blood. I can probably not. I'm not. It's not like I'm showing pictures. I'm just gonna talk about it. So, just preemptively, during the entire surgery process, I was awake. But my eyes were completely numb. They numb your eyes beforehand with eye drops, and then they use a tool to touch the eye to make sure you can't feel anything. And then, you know, if you can, obviously you tell them and they do something about it. I go. I'll be on top of the lane. Oh god. Ooh. Okay, so basically the surgery. First, the surgery takes like it's so quick, like 15 minutes tops, maybe. If even that. It's a very, very quick surgery. And so basically we sign in, and you have to have somebody drive you there and back, because after the surgery on your eyes, you can't drive. Also because they have to give you Xanax, which is a very addictive drug that nobody should do. But in a medical situation, what's important, they don't give it to everybody. They give it to people if you ask for it beforehand. Not for Xanax specifically, but like if you're, you can tell them if you're like a really anxious and fidgety person, which I am, and then they'll be like, oh, okay, well we have Xanax that we can give you. It's like, okay. But we signed up for it during the procedure, but we opted out of getting it prescribed because, like I said, it's a very addictive drug, and I don't have an addictive personality. I don't think I've ever gotten addicted to anything. I don't know if personality is the right word there, but I've never been addicted to anything. Not like caffeine. I don't drink coffee. I don't like it. I don't drink tea. I don't like that either. I don't drink energy drinks. Again, I don't like it, and I don't really need it. I have plenty of energy. I can function decently on 3 hours of sleep. I usually get like 6 hours of sleep, and that's just my normal sleep. With sleep, I have a lot of energy. It just means that I get tired sooner in the day. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm tired all day. Anyway, so I'm a very anxious person, and so we opted into the Xanax just for the surgery. We did not prescribe it after, and I don't think anybody should. I don't know why that was even an option, because, like, you know, if you're anxious for the surgery, that's one thing, but why would you be anxious after the surgery? I don't know. But they also offered to give you some like Tylenol PM or something afterward. But if you have your own, obviously you don't have to get it from them. Anyway, so we go into the waiting room. A like nurse or secretary or something brings us there. I don't remember who. And then the surgeon comes in and like introduces himself. And so I forget the name of the specific machine that they use, but the one I use, it uses the machine where it like tracks your eye. So if you accidentally move your eye, it'll move with it. Like if you're accidentally looking around. Whereas other machines, and what used to be the norm that everyone would do, is it would... if you accidentally move your eye, the machine would automatically stop, and they'd have to like restart. Not like start over or whatever, but they'd have to like stop and like pause for a second and tell you to like look at the green light and don't move, and then continue. I think that's what they said. That's not what I did though, so I'm not positive how it would work. Anyway, so he comes in, he explains. He's like, okay, the machine will follow you if you even if you sporadically move your head around, it will follow you, but please don't do that because it'll freak me out. He's a funny guy. And then after introducing himself and stuff and just telling us how the process is gonna go, he goes back into the room because he had a surgery lined up while they were prepping her. He was talking to me. And so, like I said, we just sit there in the waiting room while this girl gets her surgery. It's like 15 minutes. And the entire time that he's doing the surgery, he's just blasting music. And like, it's not like classical music or anything. It was like... I wish I remembered the song. There's like 2 songs that played, and I recognized one of them. But I don't remember which song it was. But it was like I don't want to say like RDM music. It wasn't like, but it's probably music that you would hear if you went to a club. I say, as someone who's never been to a club, it sounds like something that people would dance to. And so he just had that music blasting loud, so loud we could hear it through the closed door that we were behind, and it was great. It was fantastic. It was good music. It wasn't. And so I was just like, also they have you sitting in like a massage chair, but it doesn't really massage. It just kind of like the entire chair just vibrates. So I didn't have that on because I didn't like it. It just makes you feel tingly, I guess. But they want you to be comfortable because he gave me the Xanax when he was talking to me, and so they want you to like calm down while you're in the waiting room, and it did work. It wasn't like a super obvious thing though. I wasn't like slurring my words or anything, but I did feel calmer. But I don't know. I think I usually have a high aversion, or like my body doesn't react as strongly to a lot of drugs, I guess. Like I usually need like a higher dosage of things for them to affect me how they're supposed to, but he only gave me one Xanax. Okay, it's addictive, sorry. And you know, so you don't want too much of that. So I didn't have more than prescribed, obviously. But it was just to calm my nerves anyway, which was fine. Anyway, so I'm just like chilling, and the music's like blasting through the door or whatever, and I'm just like sitting there like bobbing my head. And my mom, who's the one who drove me there, just goes, "You better not do that during the surgery." Which, like, obviously I wasn't planning to. I was like, yeah, no, I think I'd be too nervous to, like, even with the Xanax, I think I would be too nervous to bob my head while my eyes are being operated on. Which I was too nervous to do that. So anyway, I've been rambling a lot. It takes me forever to tell any story because I just add in like every detail, and I ramble and I lose track of what I'm saying, like I am right now. And I'm just self-aware of it, yes. Oh, anyway, so it was finally my turn for the surgery. You know, they like clean everything off and they guide me in. They tell me to sit down. I have to like lay on this like bed. It's like thin, just wide enough to like fit a person on it, I guess. And then they put like a pillow underneath your knees so it doesn't strain your back, because like the thing you're laying on is just completely straight. There's like a cushion, but you don't sink into it or anything. So to avoid straining your back, they give you this thing on your knees. And then they gave me a stuffed animal, which I think they said it was an Eeyore, and it felt like an Eeyore. And later my mom told me it was Eeyore. It was an Eeyore plushie. They just had me hold on to it, so I just locked my fingers together over the plush. Because they don't want you to, like, you know, reactively reach your hand up during the surgery. And so I held on to that. And then they put these like numbing eye drops in my eyes, which worked very quickly. It was very weird. And like the entire time sound, it well, I forgot the like best part of the guy walking in. The doctor, when he came to talk to us, he told me that it was gonna feel like I was abducted by aliens. And honestly, he's kind of right. Like there was just so many things happening, so many things going on. The music was loud but muffled at the same time. People were talking, I could barely hear them. Like, it was very disorienting. Anyway, so they lay me down, they numb my eyes, they test to make sure they're numbed, and they are. And then they put me under one of the machines. And they use this, like, this weird, like, kind of partially see-through tape, and they put it on my upper and lower eyelashes to keep them out of the way. And then they take this metal contraption and they put it on underneath my eyelids to force my eye open. Because, you know, you don't want to blink. They can't have you blink. You're not allowed to blink. Otherwise, the laser would just go through your eyelid, probably. That would hurt. Anyway, so they have my eye, like, clamped open. And they shift me under the machine. And as they shift me over, I can just see, like, in the reflection of the metal of the machine, my eye. And it looked like something out of a horror movie. It was really freaky. I was silent pretty much the entire surgery. I'm not a big talker when I'm in any sort of medical situation. Even the dentist, like, I'll answer anything that they ask me. But I'm a nervous talker, so I try to just prevent myself from talking, or I'll just babble. So I was silent the whole procedure, just listening to whatever I thought they said, because again, everything was muffled. So I'm under the machine. My eyes propped open. The other one's like covered by some eye patch or something. At this point, my eye is completely numb, and so my vision's slightly hazy. And they put this kind of plate over my eye. It reminds me of like if you use a microscope, you have like a little clear lens that you put over, or like a plate that you put whatever you're examining on. It was kind of like that, like I could see through it, kind of. They put that like resting over my eye, and then they brought the machine, which was like a big like tube. From what I could tell, again, I was directly beneath it, so it was kind of hard to tell with my depth perception lacking. But they bring it down against my eye, and I just, like, there's, obviously my eye is numb, but I can feel my eye just being pushed toward the back of my skull. And while it wasn't necessarily painful, it was very uncomfortable. Like, very uncomfortable. I almost wanted to ask them to stop, but I didn't. Because I didn't want to interrupt the procedure. So I didn't say anything. Which I'm glad I didn't, because then the process would have just taken even longer. I think I was supposed to jump on top of the lantern there. Probably. I don't know. But yeah, so it felt like they were pushing my eyeball into the back of my skull. And like, honestly, one of the reasons why I almost asked them to stop was because I was worried they were gonna like fucking pop my eye or something. Which obviously didn't happen. I'm just paranoid. It didn't happen. It was fine. My eye is fine. Obviously, I said it's better than fine, even. But so something they did warn me beforehand, which did end up happening, is that as they applied more and more pressure to my eye, he told me that my vision was gonna fade to black. But rather than blackness, I didn't really see black. It's more just like that eye stopped working. So I could see out of both eyes, and then I slowly watched my vision in the eye they were pressing against fade, and then I could only see out of the other eye. Like I didn't see black. I just lost vision in that eye temporarily, which, you know, when like it came back, but uh it wasn't a fade to black. It's like my eye was just gone. It's like they just took out my eye. Maybe I should have changed the title of the screen to describing my LASIK procedure. That's what it started to do. This is taking a long time. Anyway, so my vision was just completely gone in that eye. Couldn't see anything. I panicked eternally, slightly, but I didn't say anything or move at all. I was just like, okay, yeah, they said this was gonna happen. I just let it happen. And so after they took the thing off of my eye, they took the thing holding my eye open off, they took the tape off, and then they put they taped something over my eye. I'll just call it an eye patch, I guess. They taped it over my eye so that they could do the other eye. And the same process, except with the second eye, I then could see nothing. Like, one of my eyes was covered, and then the other eye was, like, blinded or whatever, you know, just like the first one. And so then, like, I didn't necessarily... Then it was kind of like I could see black, I guess. Like, it was just kind of a void where it didn't feel like any light was going through or anything. It was just darkness. But my vision was just completely gone for a good few seconds. Which, like, I'm glad that they warned me about. Otherwise, I would have been freaking the hell out. I would have been freaking out so badly. Which I still was, because I'm like, I know they said this is gonna happen, but what if my vision just doesn't come back? What if this is it? The last thing I saw was my eye being pried open. But obviously that didn't happen. And so after they do that to both of my eyes, they don't recover that right eye, and my vision, like I said, comes back a little bit. After they're done with the pressure thing, it's just that everything's just really blurred and muddled, and so I basically can only see like colors. And so they drag the bed I'm laying on over to the second machine. And this one, I couldn't tell you what the first machine actually did to my eye, but the second one was the laser, which is, I didn't know there was multiple machines. But this one was the actual laser part of the laser surgery. And so they slid me under it, and on the same eye that they just did the pressure thing on, they tell me in their muddled distance to try and keep my eye on the green light. And this is the part that felt like I was in a UFO, because like I said, everything was muffled, the music was really loud and muffled, and I couldn't hear very much, and my vision was gone in one eye and very, very blurry in the other. And so I could just see like a faint white light in like a circle, like a big one. It took up like my entire vision. And then there's two red lights on the left and right side, inside the white light. So the white light was a big circle, like just a big circle. And then inside that big circle was two red lights, and then in the middle was a green light. And so I don't know how big or tiny the lights were, but because all I could see was colors, it was just like a big halo of light from all of these sources or whatever. And so it like, that's the part that I was like, yeah, if I were to think about what it would be like to be abducted by an alien, I feel like it would be a lot like this. Everything's really numb. I'm overly relaxed from the Xanax. I can't really see anything or hear most things. It's just color, just red and green lights. And so the laser turns on, and while I again can't necessarily feel the laser, like the pain, I think I might have been able to feel some of the heat of the laser, but not, like, again, no pain, no sharp pain or anything. But I could smell it, and I don't think I could give it like a specific smell of its own. And so the closest I could think of is a mixture of burnt hair and burnt skin mixed together. That's kind of what it smelled like. But I'm sure it's just, you know, burnt eyeball is its own smell. But that's the closest I could give to anyone who's smelled for hair, I guess. It smells kind of like that. Not very pleasant. Then, so this was them working on my right eye, and I did actually notice that my right eye, the numbness did, not during the surgery, but the numbness did run out sooner with my right eye than my left eye. And so when they were like doing the laser, whatever, I did feel like near the end there was like a slight stinging, but it was like faint, like really in the distance. And so I guess I should have asked for like extra numbing eye drops or something, or maybe part of the drop missed my eye. I don't know. But it wore off sooner. And again, I didn't feel any extreme pain or anything. But they did that eye first, and that didn't start happening until the end. So after the laser does its thing or whatever, they use some tool that at this point my vision's just like so blurred I can't tell what anything is. But they push it against my eye and it shifts my vision, which was really weird. Like I was looking at the green light, and then they put this thing against my eye and move something, and then suddenly the green light is somewhere else. And so I shifted my vision to follow it. I was like, what the hell? You know, it's like they took the part of my eye that sees and just like shifted it over. It was weird. But I believe that was them smoothing down the flap, because that's what they do, is they use the laser to cut a flap in your eye, so they cut like 80% of a circle, and then they open the flap and do the surgery or whatever. And so I think that was them just smoothing it down, which, you know, I guess was affecting where I was seeing. Oh, okay, that was bad. And then they did the same thing for the other eye. And then afterward, they're like, okay, you're all done. And then they take the thing from under my knees. They take Eeyore away from me. So sad. And then they're just like, yeah, you can sit up now. And like, so, oh, I forgot to mention during the surgery, whenever they did the laser and they took the prong thing off my eye that was keeping it open, my eye just immediately shut, and I could not muster the effort to open them again. Like my eyes were just shut. Once they were shut, they were shut. They weren't opening. And so they told me I could sit up, and so I sat up. And then they told me I could stand up, so I stood up. And they're like, "Oh, you can open your eyes." And so I tried, and like all I could really do was relax my eyes, so that they manually opened slightly. And that was about all I could muster. And so that's what I did. Oh shit. And then they walked me over to this machine that was really just like a normal machine that, like, if you go to an eye checkup, you have to look into one of these, and it you know, it shows you the like blimp or whatever, and it was like one of those. I don't remember if that's actually what they did. No, they didn't show me any images. They were just looking at my eyes to make sure everything like settled in properly, I guess. And so they did that, and then he's like, I'm gonna touch your eyes for a second. And so he did. He stuck something against my eyes, I guess to, again, make sure the flap was closed and flat. And then like, okay, you can go. And they gave me some sunglasses, and I put them on, and then I was allowed to leave with my mother. And so even with the sunglasses on, everything was like way too bright. And so, you know, I made it to the car, and they said as soon as you're done with the surgery, you should close your eyes when you're in the car and not open them till you're home. And so that's what I did. But I get in the car, I close my eyes, and like as soon as we were in like a parking garage, as soon as we leave the parking garage, everything is just too bright. Like even with my eyes closed and the sunglasses on, everything was so bright that, like, fortunately I was wearing a hoodie. I had to take the hood of the hoodie over my eyes, over the sunglasses. Speaking of eyes, I need my eye drops in 1 second. That one was empty. Hold on. Annoying little tubes. Okay. Anyway, so as soon as we leave the parking garage, just everything is too bright. It's so bright. Like the next time I try to like open my eyes at all, it's just I can't. Like I cannot open my eyes for the rest of the drive. And like I was not in like any agony, but like I said that the numbness of my right eye wore off first. It wore off during the car ride, which was like a 50-minute car ride from where I got the surgery. Because there's only so many of these buildings, I guess. We had to travel a bit. So I was like, we were in the car for like around an hour or so, and just the entire time I was just, my eyes were just like burning, like stinging. Like, I've never had a hangover, but to anyone who has, my guess is that the light sensitivity afterward is kind of like this. But it was so much worse. Probably, I don't know. But like it wasn't giving me a headache specifically. It's just my eyes felt like they were like on fire. And the only thing that helped was getting rid of as much light as possible, because like, my eyes themselves, they didn't sting, but the light was just like burning my eyes. It's like the sun was like directly pressed against my eyeballs anytime any light seeped through my hoodie. And so I had the sunglasses on, I had my eyes closed, I had the hoodie over my sunglasses and eyes, and then I put my hands over all of those to like completely shut out any light, and it still hurt slightly because there's just a tiny bit of light getting through, just the tiniest bit. And so that was my entire drive home. That sucked. My right eye started burning first, and then my left eye followed very quickly after, or like a few minutes after or whatever. But eventually we got home. I couldn't open my eyes, and I told my mom that, so she helped me get to my room. And then I still couldn't like force my eyes open, really, so she helped me put my eye drops in, where like I laid down on bed, and then she just like grabbed, just using my eyelashes, she like pushed my eye open and did one drop at a time. There had to be like 2 to 3 minutes between each one. So that was the process, putting all 3 types of drops in each eye. And then I had my sunglasses on, and we had my room as dark as it could be with the blinds closed and everything. But it was still a little too bright. And so I have like a sleeping mask, and they said I wasn't allowed to wear it directly because they didn't want it rubbing against my eyes, but I put the sleeping mask on over the sunglasses, which was slightly uncomfortable, but only after I did that did my eyes stop hurting. And then so the thing with LASIK is that so then my mom gave me the painkiller. She gave me the Tylenol PM or whatever. And so I took that, and then when she left the room to let me sleep, I also ended up taking just one melatonin pill, or it was a gummy. But usually a dose is 2, but I just took 1. Which you're allowed to take those. You're allowed to take Tylenol PM and melatonin together because they do 2 different things. Like melatonin is, it's melatonin. It's not. It doesn't do the same thing that the PM of Tylenol PM does. So I took both of those, and then they told me that after the surgery you're supposed to sleep between 4 and 6 hours. And so I fell asleep for 4 hours almost exactly, and then I woke up. I put some of the artificial tears in my eye, I think. And then I went back to sleep for another 2 hours. Because I originally I planned on sleeping the full 6 hours, so because I planned on an advance, so I got like 5 hours of sleep the night before, so that I'd be more tired after the surgery. Which worked. It did help, because they're like you're allowed to be tired going into it, you just need to be able to sleep afterward. And so I got the 6 hours. It was very disorienting because I don't usually go to sleep in the afternoon. And I woke up and I could see, and then, like I said, I had to do light drops every 15 minutes. And that was it. That was my day. I just kind of avoided screens for a little bit. I swear that story was like 20 minutes long. maybe even 30. I don't know. I took a long time telling that story. Yes, very exciting. Oh, nice. Wanted to make some progress. Not doing any flying or whatever, but I just gave it on that checkpoint. I still made it on my own. Yeah, so the experience like as a whole wasn't terrible, just really weird. It was a weird experience. That's all I can really say. If I had to do it again, I would 100% do it again, and I would recommend to anyone who's thinking about it, you should absolutely do it. That is my take. Everything that I just described, everyone who's considering it should do it. I'm not supposed to go there? Yeah, I don't know how no one else in my family really needs glasses or whatever. My parents told me my aunt also got LASIK, but that was like 30 years ago. And hers was like, if mine sounded weird or whatever, imagine how it was 30 years ago. They didn't use a laser. They used like a scalpel. Like they cut your eye open with a knife. Like I could not be me. I'm not sure if I would have done it. But I mean, I guess she doesn't need any touch-ups or anything. And then there's so of everyone that I know that does it, my aunt who did it first, she, to my knowledge, only needs like reading glasses, but she is like 10 years older than my mom, who's her sister. My mom got it done 20 years ago, and she still needs nothing to correct her vision. And then my dad, who did it 10 years ago, he does actually need reading glasses. And so I do not know the science behind it, so you know, don't quote me. But my guess, and this is only a guess, is that the later in life you get the surgery, the quicker it runs out. Not really runs out, but like needs touch-ups, the sooner your vision gets worse again. Because, you know, like people's eyes get bad with like age just naturally. And so usually getting LASIK like restarts your eyes. You know, it's almost like getting a new pair of eyes. It's like a fresh start or whatever. But I guess when you're already like as old as my dad is, because it was only 10 years ago that I got it, even though he got like his new vision or whatever, it just declined faster. Because I guess when you're older, your eyes just decline at a quicker rate. I don't know. Just speculation. I'm no scientist. That's my guess. And so, because I've gotten it at a younger age than any of them, I'm hoping that means that my vision will last longer than any of them. And that's not saying that like, oh, I hope that that my vision doesn't go bad before they at their age goes bad. I just mean that I hope I'm older when my eyes start going bad again. Which they're like in their 50s. So. I can hope. Ah. Pick everything again. I don't know if I need to periodically check everything to make sure I'm still streaming, but I'm gonna check anyway. Has it already been an hour? Doesn't feel like it, but my throat's a mess from all the talking. I seem to go long periods of time without talking, so when I talk a lot, my throat does not like it. Oh, I didn't think I'd make that. Where am I going to that island? Oh, what the hell? I don't know if I can make that jump. That was probably the checkpoint! Ah! The thing about the different websites that I'm streaming on or whatever is that when somebody chats, I can tell which platform they're chatting from. So it'll have a little icon by their name. I can be like, oh, so-and-so is messaging from YouTube, so-and-so is messaging from Kick. Which I feel like would get really chaotic if you were like a big streamer. Because then people would probably have a harder time talking to each other unless they were responding to people like seeing the chat on the screen or whatever. But if there's a lot of people, they'd probably have their chat bigger than I have mine. Probably make it taller so that you could see more messages. Yeah, at least now I have a surgery memory that I have surgery memory. It's not the first surgery I've gotten in my life, but it's the first one I remember. Well, unless the wisdom teeth, I guess wisdom teeth surgery. Well, yeah, I guess that counts. I mean, like I was knocked out during the surgery itself, but like it happened this year. So I still remember it. Just a year of surgeries, I guess. Facial surgeries. And I say wisdom teeth, but I only had one wisdom tooth. So it was wisdom tooth surgery. Wisdom tooth removal. Which I just recently went to the dentist for a checkup, like, last week. And they're like, oh, did you get your wisdom tooth removed? And I'm like, yeah. By you guys. Like, I had the... Like, why is it not in their notes that I got it removed, you know? Like, I understand if that specific person doesn't remember me, because they have so many patients that they have to remember. But surely it's in, like, my medical history? Like, oh, yeah. She got her tooth removed a few months ago. Like, it hadn't even been that long. I think it was even this year. I'm really bad at remembering time and managing it in my head or whatever, but like it wasn't that long ago. Oh, Yes, I thought it was weird. Like, I know we hadn't done any, like, x-rays of my teeth since before the surgery, so, like, maybe in the actual x-rays I still have my teeth? But, like, my paperwork still should have said that it was removed. Unless maybe she was confirming that it wasn't, like, an error. That it's like, oh, you don't have your wisdom teeth, right? Like, no, I don't. I keep saying teeth. Again, there's only one. You got one removed. Which, I don't know how common that is. How common is it for people to not have all 4 of their wisdom teeth? It's not like 3 of them were, like, removed earlier or something. It's that they just never existed. I just only ever had 1 wisdom tooth. I say, who needs them? Which, that's always confused me, because... Oh, wait, no. I was thinking of, like, tonsil. I thought when people get, like, their wisdom teeth out, they're, like, supposed to eat ice cream afterward and, like stuff. But you're supposed to avoid ice cream after wisdom tooth removal, is what I was told. And so I did. I was thinking of tonsils. When you get your tonsils out, a lot of people eat ice cream. I just remember when I was a kid being really jealous of my friend because she got her tonsils out. And then she got to just eat a bunch of ice cream for like a week. And I was like, dang, I want to eat a bunch of ice cream. No reason. But I've never had any tonsil issues, I don't think. And then now I'm just like, ugh, I don't want to eat that much ice cream for a week. I don't think I could. I think that would be too much. I'm full after like 1 milkshake. I don't think I could just eat a bunch of ice cream. I'd probably want to if my, if my tonsils were aching, but I would get sick of it pretty quick. And I don't want to be sick. One of my favorite things. No! Because milkshakes are my favorite dessert. And it'd probably be easier than eating ice cream, but I would get so sick of it. Like, if I go to Jack in the Box and get a milkshake, the only other thing I can get is, like, fries. I couldn't eat, like, a burger with it. It would be too much. I fell. No. Do you have anything else to talk about? That's really it. I spent a really long time setting this all up. I now have a toggle for volume. I also have a toggle for stopping stream, but it only works on Twitch. So I either have to stop the Twitch stream first or last. I can't do them all at the same time. I can stop them all in OBS. That's what I did basically, is that I was using Streamlabs, but like all I ever hear about is how everyone should switch to OBS and not use Streamlabs, and so I did that. Now I'm using OBS, and it took it took a whole day. An entire day is what it took for me to set this thing up, especially because I need to get so like it was easy. I just had to download one thing to connect all the streams together, but what took me most of the day was figuring out how to get all 3 chats to show up on the stream. And you know what? Hold on. I'm gonna I'm gonna show how it works on stream. I'm not gonna like show how to like set it up, but I'm gonna text in each chat. So in YouTube and Kick. Okay, apparently I don't know why Kick got censored on Kick for. And then please tell me this is working. Why did nothing show up? Oh no. What did I do wrong? I do now. Why is it not working? Why is chat not working? What the heck? Why is this not working? It was literally working when I tested this before. Is it working on any of the other screens? No. Well, no one has been sending any of this into me, so it's fine for now. We'll have to figure this out later. Oh, well. Okay, I'm gonna try one more time, and then I'm probably gonna end the stream so I can mess with the chat and figure out why it's not working. No. Okay. Well. Gonna end the stream here. Thank you guys so much for watching and testing this. I would like to wish you all a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, whatever time it may be for you, wherever you are. And I would also like to thank any future VOD watchers for watching and wish you a wonderful rest of your days as well. And I will see you guys next weekend. I will talk to you guys next weekend. Thank you for watching. What? Bye-bye.